everybody, my name is Chloe Hudson and this is World Peace Projects. Thank you for joining me. I'm so happy to be with you here today. And I wanted to speak a bit about a new understanding that I am currently mulling over and embodying. It's something that I spoke about on my podcast that is called A Galactic Perspective Down the Rabbit Hole, which is on every other Thursday, 1 to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on wolfspiritradio.com. This is a concept that New Earth Channelings, who has a YouTube channel, she's wonderful, check her out please. She did a group channeling. I'm not sure if it was Saint Germain or Lord Cthulhu who offered this conceptual understanding. And the guide was saying that in 2018, many of the light workers are going to be taking on a new embodiment and releasing their belief systems that much more thoroughly than we already have been. And the theme will be releasing human collective experience as our foundation and our baseline for how we conceptualize and understand the all that is. So if you think about the way we define knowledge, it is truly based around collective human experience, whether that be your direct experience from past things that you've gone on in your life, or whether that be collective experience and you've been told of it or learned of it or watched something that offered you their experience and then you've taken that on indirectly as your experience. So this concept is very interesting to me because the guide was saying that as we learn to let go of all of our collective human experience, because ultimately, why would we want to do that? Well, it's a structure, correct? Knowledge is a structure that gives us some kind of a foundation and helps support us to whatever capacity it has the ability to do that. And ultimately, any structure inevitably is limited because at some point you may get to the edges where there is a boundary that you cannot pass beyond. Well, as we're moving up in the dimensions, we eventually will dissolve or transmute all of our structure systems because this universe is limitless. And we would like our experience to be unlimited. And so moving from understanding how to manifest things in your life, moving from the discipleship of becoming a responsible, aware manifester into a creator seat where we are no longer necessarily navigating in a way where we're moving forward in action space to do and manifest. We are simply being and registering that as a creator, we are the all that is, so we can be present in this now moment and witness our reality shift into what it is that is most heart aligned and desired. Okay? So this understanding around releasing experiences of all kinds is based upon, in this conversation, moving to a place where we can consciously become creators of our reality in a way that we no longer have to. We may choose to and want to, but we do not have to move through action, and we can stay in this now moment in place of being. So letting go of your collective human experience, which is what they in this video were talking about basing the definition of knowledge as, collective human experience, whether that be your direct experience in life or indirectly, would allow you to be in a space where in all now moments you receive, give, witness, observe, and resonate in a frequency of pure, unconditional objectivity. Because if you take away that structure and that platform of your experiences, which may give you some kind of past reference to what is happening now, which you are basically deciding already the way it is in some form or another. What the outcome may be once this happens, or you witness this, or you communicate with this person, and then what the very near future offers for you. Now, a lot of this people are going to say, well, but it just seems obvious and logical to think that if somebody approaches you and opens their mouth, they're going to speak to you and you're going to open your mouth and speak back to them, and that's just how it is, right? That's obvious, and that seems like that wouldn't change. And because you are a creator in many experiences, if that's something that you decide subconsciously already is going to happen, well, it will happen because you've created a foundation and a belief system around how this is going to look and what's going to happen, and it just does. So if you take away all of your collective human experience, you are literally left with a complete blank slate. And I think this is fabulous because it gave me an insight into how miracles actually have the allowance to happen in your life. How do you let go of the how, right? Because if we've been studying manifestation for a while, we know that one of the most tricky parts for the average human being is to get out of their own way, surrender control enough to give the universe its role and its duty to bring forward or reveal to us the how. We are not to know the how because our how will always be more limited than what the universe could possibly fathom for us. We do not yet know how amazing and magnificent we are as creator beings. Therefore, we will always, at this point, get in our own way if we choose to implement the how. Our how may work for us. We may be very happy with it. Though unbeknownst to us, the universe may have had a much more grandiose how because the universe loves us so completely and values us unconditionally, therefore would offer us every possible miraculous outcome there is, as long as our frequency were allowing enough to receive that universal how. So understanding that the how, which of course we usually implement through our knowledge base, which would be our collective human experience, is, in my experience, the most tricky piece of navigating the manifestation understanding. And as a creator being, when you learn to step into a role as ultimate creator, you must take responsibility for absolutely everything in your life. So that means that as you're standing in the seat of creator and you're witnessing life around you and you're interacting with life and experiences, you must know that if you are to own the truth that you are ultimate creator in your personal reality, that everything that comes forth to you and the way you process and perceive it is of your creation. So regardless of the collective human experience, that you tap into mass consciousness and feed from that, you're also choosing the way you receive and experience this reality, which means that inevitably you have the power to completely perceive it and shift it and experience it in an infinite amount of ways. Okay? So if you are to surrender all of your experience in a way that was comfortable enough in your baseline frequency, because we all have a baseline frequency. Often we drop below it and we know when we do because we don't feel great. And often we go above it and we know when we do because we're a little bit more excited or exuberant or whatever it might be than usual. So we vacillate on a scale. But our baseline frequency is the average of how we attract and manifest. So if we held a baseline frequency of allowance in a way that we are so surrendered to what is that might come forward to us and our exchange in that and the way we observe it and communicate and connect, then miracles have enough space and allowance to reveal unto us. Because miracles are defined as something that is outside of the norm, that would rarely come forth to happen, but offered itself in a way where you are so surprised and taken back by it that it, for you, is a miraculous situation. It is something that is not normal and average in your experience, right? So to one person, a miracle could be something to another person that is just a normality, right? Because they have different perceptions and different realities. And if you released the way that you think it should be or is going to be or has always been, no matter what it is, you bring forward the allowance and the abundant space for the miracle frequency to match your baseline frequency. Okay? Now, that I think is fabulous. I was just thinking about that 2 days ago. Though something that is a more kind of like down-to-earth thought about this, understanding, releasing collective human experience. When you meet somebody and you commune with them, whether it be somebody you've always talked to every day, maybe you work with them or a family member, or it could be a stranger, the way we formulate the space of how we create conversation is also around human collective experience. This person might come up to you, you might make inference about their sex, maybe they're man, woman, you might look at their culture, their race, you might look at the style they dress. You're already accumulating through your massive past data bank of things about this person that you've already decided is so, even if you're not consciously aware of it, and you might already have established a baseline experience for how the conversation's going to go. So maybe you're only open to receiving certain information about them, and then you're only open to giving them certain information about you. And the information you're going to give to them about you is going to be based on your collective experience, because in a way that's how you define your being. So that's what you offer to them. So in that context, this interaction is already limited. What if you showed up in a way where this is potential creation with this person? And this is also another concept that they're speaking out on New Earth channelings. If you received every person as potential creation for a new connection and communication, and you also came forward to offer potential creation, maybe something you've never experienced in your own being, because this is a unique moment. When you interact with another person, it's a new moment. So it'll never be exactly the same as any other reaction or interaction you've had with them. You're going to create its own energy, because your energy coming together with their energy is alchemy in its own right. These are things that will never be reproduced in this exact way. So there's massive potential for phenomenal new creation in all now moments. And we can experience a vast array of this potential creation energy and connection, more than just knowing in theory or because of physics when we look at the micro level of energy exchange, that there's a variation and a difference. So knowing that concept but experiencing that big difference is two different things. And in my opinion, to be able to experience potential creative connection in all now moments means that you are allowing enough space in your frequency for it to show up in a way where you can really take it in and not just know in concept that this is a unique moment because it's never happened before. You can actually really engage in how unique it is, and you can show up to life like a newborn babe, super open and excited, ready to receive and witness and experience. And then when things come to you that in the past, whether it be 2 minutes ago past or whether it be 20 years ago past, have been something that maybe has triggered you, that you do not like, that was not a wonderful experience, any of those things based around your collective human experience, you can allow yourself to release it no matter how personal it was for you. Because if you simply choose to show up in a way where life is this new grand adventure and you're here to witness and receive something fun and unique, and somebody comes at you in a way that they have always come at you and talked to you, or and it's always triggered you in a certain way because you have all of this built up past human experience that's been very painful maybe. While that's something that was your past experience, if you're here in this moment choosing to experience life new and ultimately fresh without any baseline platform of what this is or what might be happening or what it might mean or what might have been then or what is to be over there in the future, if you just receive it like a child or an animal witnessing something for the first time, none of that experience comes into play. And the ability to be detached and observant in this moment with this situation or this person is phenomenal. Because first of all, most of us have been working on getting to a place where we're able to forgive and heal all of our past collective human experience that still lives in us. We're still pulling it around. We're still feeding into the mass consciousness and their collective human experience, and all of these pain bodies are thriving. We're still attached to the way people talk to us or treat us, or the way that we might talk to somebody else. Maybe we feel guilty about that past conversation, or maybe we think of somebody and hold them in a framework of how they are and the type of personality they have. We don't like that. We've already decided that the interaction with that person or that situation is ill-begotten or it's not enjoyable. Well, maybe it was before, but why does it still have to be? Even if that experience didn't change in its baseline frequency or that person, what will change is the way you show up to receive it. And that's what shifts your reality. Because now you're so detached and observant that coming forward to you, things that might have triggered you so tremendously can be quite amusing. And when you grasp this concept and turn it into experiential understanding, it will be absolutely amusing, because for me, when something comes to me that was such a trigger in my past, no matter how, it's usually recent, because that's when I'm highly amused with it, because maybe I'm realizing that I'm no longer triggered, and I'm that's such a miraculous thing to me. It's still so fresh that it's highly amusing. I am so happy for this situation to be in front of me, and I could actually laugh about it, because in the past it's been like the bane of my existence, or something that was very upsetting. And usually it's also been me imposing a rigid box or belief around that situation or that person. And that's the way I frame it. So therefore, when I navigate through that frequency or that emotion or that response, that's always what I'm going to see and what I'm going to receive back. And that's my choice. That does not mean that that's the only plausible outcome or reality in this now moment. It simply means it's the one I'm creating. So this concept to me, which I want to stop calling it a concept, I want to call it my embodied experience, is so fabulous. I think this is amazing, because it shows me how you can truly first be in creator seat and not necessarily need to move in any which way or go forward or do this or that to bring to you a manifestation. It's rather that you are sitting as creator and you are being and you are pushing forward life alchemy, life creation. And so there's no action movement. It's just that you're shifting your frequency so thoroughly that you're allowing things to come to you in a way where you receive it so purely that you can change your reality in any now moment. I hope that you guys enjoyed this concept. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again. Take care. Blessings.